You see ETH BTC trying to curl up and make a bottom. Pumped up hard. It's curling, it's curling, it's trying. Okay. This is the same bottom that we made last cycle before ETH made this bottom right here. Pumping into 2021. May 21, alt season. Doge goes up to fucking almost $100 billion market cap. Come back down to the supply during the summertime, bear market, and then slowly died the entire next cycle. The next pump, the two pumps on ETH BTC were the last two alt seasons. May 21, December 21 were the last two alt seasons that we had last cycle. Alt season is always led by an ETH BTC rally, always. Okay? And on this chart, keep in mind, here in May, this will be interesting to look at. Look at this. This is really interesting. So here in May, called the top on ETH BTC. ETH was at $4,300. Where was Bitcoin at that time? Okay. At that time, Bitcoin was at $60,000. Okay. So the USD price of Ethereum was 4,300. BTC was at 60,000. Therefore, ETH BTC was up at this high of 0.08. Why? Because the value of Ethereum compared to the value of Bitcoin was its highest at that point. Does that make sense? So Ethereum relative to Bitcoin was its most valuable at this current time in 2021. The next blow off top on ETH BTC was here. Okay, almost called the high on the ETH USD price, but Bitcoin was a lower here, so this is why this was at the high. So we'll even move it to this candle. Okay, so at this point, BTC was at 60,000 again. ETH was at 4,500. Even more valuable again. That's why this was a higher high than this one. So ETH was now $4,500 instead of, or 4,500 instead of 43, and Bitcoin was a little bit lower in price. So ETH BTC is at a higher value. Okay, so let's take a look at this cycle now. This is what's interesting about this chart. Now, right? So keep in mind, the price here on Bitcoin was 58,000. Okay. Price on ETH here was 4,500. Okay. Now, the price of Bitcoin is $107,000. That's where it's at right now. The price of Ethereum is only 2,600. Okay. Think about this. Price of ETH, 4,500. Price of Bitcoin, 60,000, 59,000, 58,000. The price of Bitcoin now is 107,000, almost double. Bitcoin is almost, or excuse me, Ethereum is almost half the price it was last time. That's why ETH BTC is so low and deep down in the dumps. So this is its lowest evaluation in comparison to Bitcoin it's been since bear market before last cycle. So what's the play with the boys club? Bigger picture. The play with the boys club is we're trying to capture this mean reversion in the discrepancy of the price between ETH and BTC, we want to capture the most amount of upside on this move, this mean reversion back up. So ETH BTC, because ETH is so far down below its value compared to Bitcoin, that at some point we're going to get a mean reversion at least back up to this supply zone, in my opinion. I think that's where we're going to get at a minimum. So you get this mean reversion back up to the supply zone. Well, if Bitcoin's ripping into price discovery and it goes up to $155,000 market cap, or excuse me, price, and ETH catches up and starts to outperform to the upside, ETH is going to fucking fly. Because not only is the USD pair going to go up, but ETH BTC is going to pump too. So the reversion, the repricing of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin is also going to be taking place at the same time. So you're going to see that pump coming way harder. It's going to be a much bigger, a much faster move than anticipated, or at least that was taking place the rest of the cycle. Because Ethereum is so undervalued compared to Bitcoin itself than what it's been in the past. So not only is the USD pair going to go up, but the USD pair is going to fucking fly because ETH is going to get repriced much closer to what it used to be compared to Bitcoin. Make sense? That's the play that we're making on the Boys Club. That play is what will create generational wealth, because you don't understand what that looks like. We've been in an environment where Ethereum has been losing value compared to Bitcoin for 4 years, 5 years straight. Still Pepe ran to multiple billions of dollars market cap. Still Brett, multiple billions of dollars market cap. Still Andy and Wolf, multiple $100 million market caps. In an unfavorable, poor performing Ethereum environment, the beta still worked fantastically. Now you imagine an environment where Brett, Andy, and Wolf and Pepe have all ran 10, 15, 20 X's. Now you imagine an environment where ETH is actually outperforming. How much more power is going to be behind those multiples on those altcoins? Much stronger, because that means more liquidity is coming into the Ethereum ecosystem. When they drop the staking ETFs for ETH's going to fucking fly. All these things are going to happen, right? So you want to be positioned beforehand for this mean reversion on ETH BTC to take place. That's whenever you see shit fucking fly. And to me, it makes sense that this is where it bottomed. It came right back down to the actual fucking bear market lows right here, just before last cycle. So I believe that's going to be the same thing that happens again this time. Okay? It would make sense for it to be bottomed here. So you start to get this push back up, you come back down a little bit, boom, 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 and then you start to fly, like over here. Okay? That's the play with the Boys Club. We're playing ETH beta, playing for this mean reversion. That's when fireworks happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's today's stream. God bless those in the Middle East, all the innocent people.